Hello friends, in today's video I'm going to make something for Christmas out of the caps from these cans. The first step is to mark the outline of these caps on paper. It should be a thicker cardstock. Now I'm using a blue background, a light blue one. Next I need to cut these shapes. Cardstock I'm using is not that thick enough, so I'm going to use some extra thicker cardstock along with this. Here you can see this layer is with sky blue color and the back one is with another thicker white cardstock. And while this is getting dry, I'm going to do some quilling. So I'm going to take some white. First I'm going to make a tight coil with only one full strip of my quilling paper. So my next tight coil is going to be a bit bigger than the one which we made previously. So now I'm going to attach two white strips using glue, and now I'm going to make another tight coil. Now my next tight coil is also done. If you like this texture, you can leave it as such. Or if you want it to be smoother like this, you can just use a quilling tool to roll over it so that it becomes more flat. And now it's time to attach them. Now I'm going to add a tiny cap and a scarf to the snowman. So I'm taking a small piece of quilling strip, a small loose coil and press it like a tiny cap. So it's like a triangle, and then I'm going to bend it to one side. Now I can glue the tip. Now I can put some glue to the base of this shape and then add it. For the scarf, I'm taking a small piece of thread again. I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to fold it over the sides. And tear another piece, put it like this. So before that, I'm going to add some buttons. For making the buttons, I'm going to use Nuvo crystal drops. You can use any 3D outliner. This bottle has a tiny nozzle, so it makes sure that we get tiny drops of the paint. But still, before doing it over the work, I'm just going to try it out on a rough paper. And then I'm going to draw the buttons and the eyes. Here you can see how beautiful it looks. You can add a nose and you can add some other features like a tree. I'm going to add a tree using texture paint. So this is white. It is more creamy and gives texture to any painting. So what I'm going to do is make some trees. I like the texture that it gives. That's why I am using this instead of acrylic paint. I'm also adding a base of snow. For the nose, I'm going to use this Fevicryl liquid embroidery liquid. So this gives 3D texture. You can get so many different colors in this. So I'm going to put it exactly over the center of the coil so that part gets hidden. So it is done. Now we can add a mouth if you wish. Okay, for this part I'm going to take some crystal drops in another paper because I'm scared if I'm going to mess it up. So I take a little bit in my quilling needle and then draw a tiny mouth. After all the paint dries, I can add the part of the scarf to the snowman. And when everything is perfectly dried, I can add the prinkles cap to it. For the shaker part, I am going to add some sea salt. Now glue the cap to the paperwork that we made using some strong adhesive. And once it is dried, we can see how well it works. Now to add more interest to this work, I am adding some 3 strips of quilling paper. You can choose any color that will suit your work. I am using some silver color one, and then for the front of the card, since it looked more plain, I am adding some UHU glue which is transparent in color, and add some tiny beads all along the circle shape. The next thing is I'm going to add a tiny bow to the top. For this I'm using some woolen thread. I take a small piece of woolen thread and also going to use a fork. I'm going to wind the woolen thread around the fork and take the thread from behind and leave it into the centermost hole like this. And now take the other end of the twine also behind so that they form an opposite loop. Turn the fork around and make a knot. So now we can get a beautifully made tiny bow. If you want, you can also tighten it by pulling them. It will be already tight, but to reinforce you can do it once. And then using the same UHU glue, I'm going to add the bow to the top of the work that we have done. And now I'm going to cut off the excess length of the twine. For the back side, I'm going to take a small thread, cut it, make a loop over it, and using some UHU glue, I'm going to attach it. To reinforce this, I'm going to add a circle piece of cardstock. And then it is done. Do let me know if you like this ornament, and also don't forget to watch my other videos on Christmas crafts.